I hope you're having a great day. So in this video, I'm going to be working on 3 different fall decor ideas using mostly items I've picked up at Dollar Tree. I really want to incorporate more of the mint and the aqua shades into my decor. In fact, I just recently purchased this metal truck in this really pretty shade of aqua. I already have it in red and I really enjoy decorating with that. And they came out with some new colors and I knew I wanted that one as well. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun to move them around my home and just decorate with them for the different seasons. But that's what I'm going to be sharing in this video. Let's get started. For the first project, I'm going to use this sign that I picked up at Dollar Tree, and I want to use the back of the sign. So I'm just going to start by removing the hanger, which was put on with some staples. So I'm just removing all of that, and then I'm going to add a layer of Mod Podge. The next thing I did was place a piece of scrapbook paper in the buffalo check plaid pattern onto the sign, and then I just smoothed it out, cut off the excess, and set it aside to dry. For the next part of this project, I knew I wanted to paint this wooden pumpkin that I had also purchased at Dollar Tree, so I started by removing the bow as well as the hanger that were attached to the pumpkin, and then I'm going to be mixing up my paint color, and I'm using white acrylic paint as well as a really pretty color called Key West. So after I had my first coat of paint onto my pumpkin, and you'll notice that I did lighten up the color quite a bit using the white paint, I'm just going to use paint right out of the bottle to add some shading and give it some more depth. And I also went back in with some white paint as well using the same brush. I did not clean it off or anything like that, but you can see it is a subtle difference, but it really adds so much to the pumpkin. After the paint had dried, I just used a little bit of hot glue to attach the pumpkin to my sign. For the bow for my pumpkin, I chose to use this black sheer ribbon. It's wired ribbon that I had purchased at Dollar Tree in the Halloween or the fall section, and I'm just making a simple single loop bow, and then I'm going to add a piece of burlap to the back of that, and I will secure those together with a piece of paddle wire. And I also got the burlap ribbon at Dollar Tree as well. And I'm going to attach those to my pumpkin using some hot glue. And I chose to go ahead and add back the little bow that was on the pumpkin when I purchased it. And I think this is turning out to be a really fun fall decor piece for my home. I think this would be cute just tucked into a bookshelf, but to go ahead and add a hanger back onto the sign, I just hot glued the original hanger to the back of my new sign, and I think this one turned out really pretty. For the next project, I'm using the same paint colors as well as this wood truck, also purchased at Dollar Tree. So basically, I'm just painting the truck the same way that I painted my pumpkin in the last project. I'm just using the same colors, the lighter shade where I mixed the two together, and then also just the basic white and the basic Key West to give it a little shading and some depth. And then I'm also going to paint the pumpkins, and I'm going to use an orange shade to do that. And I'm going to basically do the same thing with the orange paint color. I'm going to lighten it up with some white and do some shading on the pumpkins as well. And I think this little truck is going to be a really fun addition to a wreath. After the paint had dried, I just used a little bit of hot glue to attach the wood truck to my wreath form, and then I moved on to making a pretty bow. And I'm using a mint colored ribbon that I purchased at Dollar Tree around Easter. It's wired ribbon. I'm just going to make a simple single loop bow, and I'm going to layer that bow with a pretty fall leaves ribbon, also purchased from Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to secure that in place with a piece of paddle wire and hot glue it to my wreath. To dress up the bow a little bit further, I decided to add this little orange pumpkin to the center of the bow. I just used a little bit of hot glue. The next thing I wanted to do was add one of the metal signs that I had also picked up at Dollar Tree. They came in a package of 3, and I chose to go ahead and add a piece of burlap across the wreath, kind of catty corner, and I just attached it with some hot glue, and then I placed the sign on top of that. I had thought about putting it on the truck, but I really liked it across the top of the wreath instead, and I wanted it to have some sort of background, and I really liked how the burlap looked, and so that's what I went with. And then to finish this wreath off, which I think is turning out really cute, I just tied a little simple jute bow and attached that with some hot glue to one of the pumpkins, and I am really happy with how this wreath turned out. For the last project in this video, I'm using this Thankful and Blessed sign, also from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to simply remove the hanger, and this particular hanger you can just tuck through the holes and reuse it in the end if you want to. So I'm just removing that, and then I'm going to take off the metal leaf and the bow, and then I'm going to flip it over and start painting. And I started by painting it white. After I had the white painted, I went back in with the pretty mint color to give it more detail and really make the pumpkin shape stand out. When I was happy with how my pumpkin looked, I chose to use a pretty shade of green to paint the stem, and then I did a little bit of shading on that as well, and then I added the hanger back onto my pumpkin. And I chose to use another one of the metal words for this project as well, and I chose to use the word thankful, and I'm just going to attach it to my pumpkin using a little bit of hot glue, and then I'm also going to reattach the metal leaf and bow that I took off of this sign in the beginning, and then this project is done. I'm really happy with how all of these projects turned out, and I'm really enjoying that pretty mint color in my fall decor this year. And of course you could use any color that you want for these kinds of projects, and I hope it gives you a few ideas. If you're new to my channel, I share a lot of budget-friendly DIY home and lifestyle content. If you like that sort of thing and you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know. I'd really appreciate it, and I would love it if you hit subscribe and hung around. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.